Hello and welcome to Ghetto Watchfinder. I'm sorry, my throat is a little dry, so always disgusting and always good. So today we're looking at a blue NJShao and a red UBF. First we'll start with the NJShao. So I bought this about a year ago. As you can see, it works fine, but you can see the jerkiness of the second hand, obviously. Sunburst is very nice. But overall the finishing is really not that good. As far as the case is concerned, it is a bit thick at the back. You can see that the cover rises very early and very suddenly because it has that thick cheap movement inside, so it's not ideal. You can see that the end links, they're not, I mean, they are solid pieces, but they do move around, they rattle around, because they're just not really machined properly to the same tolerances that you would expect from something better. You can see that the center link does not rise to meet the bezel. The bezel itself, that's difficult to get a focus on that, but you can see that it's curved. It's not a straight bezel, it is curved the way it's supposed to be, but there's a lip on it. You know, it doesn't just curve down and then has a sharp finish. There's a kind of maybe half a millimeter where it just goes down straight, you know, and the real one doesn't have that, and that's kind of weird. You can also see that the links here, this first link should sit inside the lug. The lug should kind of protect that part a little bit, but it doesn't because the case shape just isn't that exact. The rest of the bracelet, well, you can see the screws here. They're very rough, very simple finishing, nothing special. The clasp is actually from a different model. It's not supposed to have a polished center section, and it's not supposed to have the flip lock either, but the clasp that came with it broke because it was welded on really badly, and so this is from a different $50 DH Gate watch. It's kind of rough. You can see that it isn't even really straight. There is a bit of play in it as well, and it's just not all that great. So from a distance of, you know, say 2 or 3 feet, this is pretty good looking, and in fact doesn't look all that much different from this one. But once you examine this one more closely, the first thing you notice is how much it sparkles, how much those markers actually sparkle. And I mean, they're not white gold, they're just steel, but they're polished, and they're not on the NJShao. Of course, there's a huge price difference. This thing is $300. The NJShao is about $50. So there is a difference in quality. There's a difference in finishing. Now you can see that the case does protect the lugs. I mean, the lugs do protect the bracelet. The center link rises to meet the bezel. I hope you can see that. Same thing on the other side. There's a little hollow section on either side of that center link, but the center link itself does rise to meet the bezel. The bezel finishes in a sharp point. There is no edge going down. You can see also the movement of the second hand, of course, is perfectly smooth, or, well, as perfectly as you're going to get with an 8 beat per second movement. This one here has an ETA 2836 copy. And as far as the bracelet is concerned, the thickness is actually exactly the same as that of the NJShao. There is no difference. There is also no difference in weight, but look at the screws here. If you can focus that, you can't, maybe on the other side. Let's see if, all right. Focus, bitch. If you don't focus, I'll replace you with an iPhone. Okay, it's not going to... Well, this is awkward. Maybe I should have another drink. But, well, what you could see if this bloody thing focused properly is that the screws on this one sit perfectly flush with the edges of the bracelet. In fact, you can't even tell that they're screws because you just see little slots in the middle where you would put the screwdriver in, but you can't see the screws themselves. There's also no play in it anywhere. You can try to jiggle this as much as you like. It's not going to move. The clasp, very well finished. There are no sharp edges at all. The engraving is well done. There are no burn marks anywhere. Again, I don't know why this fucker doesn't focus now. It focused before. Maybe I should take this away and maybe then it'll focus better. Jesus Maria. Oh, well, there you go. So you can see the clasp is very well finished. Everything is straight. There is very little play in it. I'm turn it quickly for the screws before it unfocuses. So you see the screws. You can just see the slots really, but you don't really see the outline of the screws at all because they're incredibly well done. And the back of the case as well, I did show you that on the NJShao. So here the back doesn't rise as abruptly and it is a bit flatter, which makes the watch a bit more comfortable to wear. Not a huge difference, but there's a difference. So if we look at them side by side, you can see the difference in the movement, how jerky or non-jerky the seconds hand is. But honestly, if you put both of these on a leather strap from 2 feet away, it's very hard to tell the difference. Which begs the question, of course, should you spend 6 times as much money on the UBF when you could just get 6 of these in all the different colors? I mean, they only make 5 colors as far as I know, but you know, you can always get 5 and then get a spare one. Or you just buy one of these and then you're happy with it. And honestly, for my money, I'd have a, you know, I paid about $75 for this, and then I paid around $75 for this, and you know, and then this, and I would gladly sell all my DH gaiters to get another one of these, because the quality difference when you wear it is so huge. You don't hear the bracelet, you know, there's no real slapping around here, there is no, it's all good. I've given it the oil bath treatment. I've done the same with the NJ bracelet, but you can still hear it, and it's still kind of shitty. This is just a much more high quality piece, and I've shown this to several people now who do have real Rolexes and real Breitlings, and it took some convincing to tell them that this isn't the real deal. So for my money, I'd definitely go with this one. The other question, of course, is would you still buy the real Rolex? Because that in Canada costs about $7,000 with the sales tax. This was about 400 Canadian dollars with the sales tax, and well, with the shipping from China. So the difference between this and that is worth the money, but the difference between this and $7,000, I don't think it's worth it anymore at this point. But well, be that as it may, to each their own. And well, join me again next week for another edition of Ghetto Watchfinder.